What? What is going on?
I want my mic to work, man. I want to make sure everything's all...
Isn't your mic already working?
Dan, is Kellen at your house for real?
No, he's just got a picture of his own house.
All right, guys.
Oh.
All right. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. This is Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima with the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. I'll be the coordinator and host for tonight. I'd like to start off by thanking the owners and the supporters of the W6 VVR repeater from the Vacaville Radio Club, the FreeSTAR Network for the use of the repeaters and digital connections. Also, a big thanks to Mike, WG5EEK, and Greg, KN6KIE, as well as Nick, KN6DAL, for their continued networking efforts. If there's any priority traffic at any time, let us know by saying break, and we'll clear your local repeaters or digital connections. Is there any priority traffic or QSTs at this time? Please come now. Somebody has their radio on. Did somebody hear me? I was transmitting at least somewhere.
All I got is RF, and you said we're not on VVR, so
yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't know where
Here we
you would go.
The 2 Meter Crew is not an actual club. We're just a bunch of hams learning and enjoying everything in the hobby. There's no dues or fees to be a 2 Meter Crew member. For more information, visit our website at 2metercrew.net. Again, that's 2metercrew.net, or join our Discord group, which is in the description of this video, as well as on the website. The Anti-Net is an open net. Anybody's welcome to join in and say hi. The 2 Meter Crew meets every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 a.m. UTC on the W6 VVR repeater with 145.470 megahertz with a negative offset of 600 kilohertz and a PL of 127.3. We're also accessible via these digital connections: Echolink at W6VVR-R, Allstar node 51094. Tonight, that's I believe that link is down due to radio issues. Allstar node 512342, DMR talk group 31741117, YSF reflector 50462, FreeSTAR Allstar links 2195. 53375, as well as Mountain West P25 talk group reflector 31062 and Mountain West DMR talk group 31062. What were you trying to say, Servando? No VVR? Yeah, I know. I didn't think about that until I said it. A little slow on that one.
You're good, man.
All right. The Anti-Net is also being live streamed on YouTube at the Northwest Ham Shack. Again, Northwest Ham Shack. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe and say hi to us in the chat. We'll start off by taking a couple check-ins. Do we have any stations that have never checked in with us before, or a new operator who just got their license? If so, please state your call sign, name, location, and I don't know what radio you're using. Please come now. Yeah, I need the cricket sound effect again. Alright, I'll open it up. Is there anybody interested in checking into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net? This won't be the last time that we come around, but I just figured I'll take some check-ins now. Anybody interested in checking into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net? Please come now.
Kilo 60 Romeo Victor.
K6SRV, you sound good. You have anything you want to say over the radio?
It's been a while since I've been on here, so I might as well check in. It just sounds, seems like a formal thing to do.
Alright, sounds good. Let's see, maybe you inspired some more people to get on the air. I'll ask again. Anybody want to check into the Anti-Net? Don't be afraid to hit that push-a-talk. Anyone that can hear my voice anywhere, please check in now. Wow. Crickets again. Give it a second, just in case someone needs to try to get in. Gotta make it uncomfortably long. Alright, we'll come back to that a little bit later. I did get a request to kind of throw a shout out here for, let's see, I'm not too familiar with this, but FreeSTAR Saturday at 2030 UTC on their network is having the biggest debate of amateur radio, which is analog versus digital. The FreeSTAR Network, you can look them up. I'll try to get a link in chat here. It's also on our website. If you navigate to the Anti-Net page and scroll down, there's a link to FreeSTAR. But yeah, they're having a Top Talk pop-up titled The Fight Net. And it's about analog versus digital. So don't forget to join them. Let's see, the 21st. So, oh yeah. So, okay, that's a little bit weird. It says the 21st, which is tomorrow. So check out their website. Probably a misinformation there, but yeah, 2030 UTC on the FreeSTAR Network. Check out their website for more information regarding that topic. Let's see.
Zen 6 VFR. Is that right now or is that
I don't know.
tomorrow?
I actually don't know. It's on their website. I know that for a fact. I'll get a link in chat.
It's tomorrow.
All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our topic discussion for tonight, which if you looked at the YouTube thumbnail, our topic tonight is ham radio formalities. So anything in radio that we do that is a formality, or I don't know what you really want to call it, but cool things that cool people do like us on the radio, because everybody on the radio is cool. They're not nerdy, they're cool. I'm going to start it off by passing it to, let's see, I guess I'll pass it to Servando first. Okay, yeah, Servando first. We'll pass it to Servando first. So this is Kilo 7, Charlie Bravo Lima with the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net, and we're going to pass it to K6SRV. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. Kilo 6 Sierra Romeo Victor. How's it going? It's been a while since I've been on the net, and I come on the net and then I get called out. So here I am. So the topic is ham etiquette, formalities, kind of one and the same. I'm fairly new ham. I don't think I could say that anymore. Let's go over the basics. I know Jim has some stuff. I know Bert has some stuff. I know Dan has some things to say. Look at him. Yeah, so formalities. The basics, are we just going to go around and say what we know about formalities? I don't know anything about formalities. I know you got to check. You got to call you say your call sign every 10 minutes when you're on the frequency talking back and forth. So I know that one for sure. And nose goes. Kilo 6 Sierra Romeo Victor.
Let's see if anybody wants to come back. Does anybody have any comments on that last one? Crickets. I guess we have to leave a very unusual long pause, awkward long pause due to the digital connections. So let's see. Just wait another second here. All right, with no comments heard on that one, I will pass it over to Jim, Alpha 7, Henry Radio. Jim, what do you have to say about the topic tonight?
Yeah, this is Jim in Antioch, Alpha 7 HR, also known as All American Ham Radio. So bam, there you go. Well, before I get started with formalities, I'm going to do something that's very informal, just to illustrate the fact that we don't really abide too much by formalities here at the Anti-Net. We're kind of informal. I'm not wearing a tuxedo. I've got a t-shirt. I got a race car behind me. Go figure. And Bert is on some spacecraft. So, we're really out there. But today is National Chicken and Waffles Day. It's almost over. But if you're listening to us in Hawaii or Alaska, it's a couple hours earlier. The restaurants are probably still open. So you might be able to run out and get some. It's also National Youth Confidence Day. And it is Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day. I like to tell those things on the morning nets that I get on. And speaking of nets, they tend to be very formal all the way to kind of like what we're doing here, pretty informal. We always try to bring something interesting to all of you, thousands of people that are listening to us right now. I know you're out there. You're a little mic shy. It's okay. We'll wait. We'll give you some time in a minute. You can chime in. We want to hear about your formalities. I check into one that's at 5:42 in the morning, local time here in California. It's not really super formal, but they just kind of go through a roll call like most nets do. And that's when I always give them a national day, and then sometimes a national food for the day kind of thing, like the chicken and waffles. And then there's one at 6:10 on the same repeater a little bit later, same kind of thing. It's just a roll call. And so I give them 2 other national days because I like to spice things up. A lot of people like to report their temperature as well, the temperature at their house, because all these cool hams have all this cool like weather gear too. There's some sort of a codependency. Yeah, there we go. Kellen's pointing at himself. You could talk about your codependency with weather and frequencies, because I don't have one, but my neighbor has one that reports to Weather Underground. So when I get on my net and in the mornings and I say my 2 national days, and I say, and it's 57 degrees at my neighbor's house, because I don't have a fancy machine like y'all do, and I usually get a chuckle out of it. And it's nice because it spices it up, because it's pretty drab most of the time. But there are some nets that I'll probably give a break right now for these digital modes. Sometimes they time out after 3 minutes. So I'll shut up for a minute.
Going back live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, that wasn't a minute. That was good enough, though. Good enough. But there are some nets that are very formal, like Aries nets and Races nets. Those are very emergency services oriented, and so they tend to be very formal, very structured. I also work for a hospital. I don't work in the hospital. I'm an IT guy, but I work for a hospital, and there is a Northern California hospitals net, or it's actually Bay Area, but it's turned into Northern California because I showed up. I work at a hospital in Sacramento. It's not in the Bay Area. And I found out about it. It's the 4th Wednesday of every month, also on the same repeater that I get on those morning nets. It's extremely formal. And in fact, they don't even call out the medical center or the medical facility. They call out item 1, Jim. And then I get on and I say, hello, this is Jim, AA7HR for UC Davis Medical Center. Item 1, checking in. And then I am quiet. And then the guy comes back. Thank you, Jim. Item 1, confirmed, checked in. And it's like that, the whole freaking thing. There are 97 items. And I adore it. I let's stay for the whole thing. And, but it's super rigorous. So if you think about kind of what the purpose is of a net that you're participating in, if it's just like the one at 5:42 in the morning is called the 5:42 morning muster. I don't know the origins of it or who started it. It's probably been going for years. And so I just hop on it just because I'm up. I'm in my office by about 5. So I'm just listening and doing boring IT work. So, but then there's other nets that are a lot more casual. They're kind of like a roundtable conversation.
Break. I want to give anybody that has an emergency an opportunity to get in if they're trying to say something, because we are jamming up a bunch of UK repeaters.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go ahead.
All right. So was there traffic? I don't think there was.
Negative. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. This is A7HR continuing on my diatribe about nets. I'm not complaining about them. I'm just illustrating the different kinds that they're out there that I've observed. There are ones that are like roundtables, and they're usually a bunch of people that are friends and usually in a similar community. And they just pass the baton back and forth to each other to talk about whatever they want to talk about. There's one in Modesto that goes on. There's a couple of them, and they're both run by the same folks. And it's kind of fun because they talk about all sorts of stuff. They go off on tangents about certain subjects. But weather, I'll tell you, weather is the common thread. That, and then if they start talking about their radios, those two things get more attention than anything else. So I'm gonna pass it off to somebody else here in a minute. But the nets which are not regulated, other than what Part 97 says you must do when you are radiating or transmitting or anything like that, such as Servando said, you got to say your call sign every 10 minutes. And then repeaters are required to report out, I think, every 20 minutes with either CW or an audio message that, this is the W6CX repeater or whatever repeater it is. So there's not a lot of FCC formalities with regards to a lot of this stuff. And there's a lot of regulations, but that's more around frequencies and what kinds of, types of modes you can use in the different parts of the frequency bands that amateurs have access to. But they don't tell you how to behave really, other than, obvious stuff. And you don't want to be trying to make money while you're talking on the radio. That's a no-no, and things like that. So you can, if you really want to have some very exciting reading, go look at Part 97 of the CFR, and you will find out. There is one thing we had a conversation about it a while ago about whether English was the accepted universal language on amateur radio, and the answer is universally no, it is not. The only thing that needs to be said in English is your call sign. That's it. Outside of that, you can speak Italian. There's a couple of Italian guys that Echolink in, or at least one guy Echolinks into the Mount Diablo repeater. And then there's somebody that's Italian here in the Bay Area, and they go on and then, and I love it because I'm Italian. I love listening to it. I don't know what the hell they're saying though, because I can't speak it, but it just, they feel like they're my brothers from another mother. And so anyhow, so there's not a lot of formality except for how the net that is running is structured. They decide, whoever started it, they run it, and they can make it loosey-goosey or really rigid like that hospital net. So I'll have a little bit more to talk about later, but I'll pass it off to somebody else for now. This is
Peter's ID.
All right.
Timing out. We're timing out the P25, which means we're timing out probably FreeSTAR as well. You want me to pass it on to someone else? We'll take check-ins. We'll see if anybody.
Yeah, do check-ins. See if we can inspire somebody to get on their radio.
All right, we're gonna take some check-ins here. This is Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We're going to go ahead and open it up. Is there any station that can hear the sound of my voice that would like to check into our anti-net, anti-formal anti-net? I don't know how many antis I can fit in a sentence there, but any stations anywhere that can hear me? Does anybody want to check in? K7 CBL. Yeah, Servando, I'll bring it back around to you. Don't worry. I'll come back to you so that you don't forget.
K7 CBR. K7 CBR. This is Kilo Bravo 4. Mike, Yankee Hotel in Rutherford County, North Carolina. And I'm my Echolink, and it's the first time I've been on. And maybe it'll be okay. I don't know. I'm running an Android or LG. You sounded pretty good. And come back, let me see if I made it back to you. This is Kilo Bravo 4, North Carolina.
Yeah, we can hear you, North Carolina. We can definitely hear you. You're sounding good. A call sign here is Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima. Charles Boy Lincoln. You're sounding good coming in via Echolink. Do you have any traffic for the informality anti-net about formalities for ham radio? Anything you want to throw in and add to the conversation? It's an open net, open whatever roundtable you want to call it. Just talking about formalities and different things with ham radio, and just wondering, do you have anything you want to add to the conversation that we might not have gone over yet? Hold on, Servando. I'm responding to people, bro. Calm down.
Well, really not. Not this time. Like I said, I just got this Echolink set up for the first time. And it's going to be pretty good. And what did you say your call letters were? And give me your name, please, sir?
Name here is Connor. Charlie Oscar November Oscar Romeo. Call sign is Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima. Again, Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima. Your Echolink is sounding good. Just curious here, because I think we all kind of are interested in this, what I'm about to ask, but I don't think anybody thinks of asking this. How did you find out about the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net? Something we always like to hear, how we're networking and who's getting to know us.
I just scrolling down the frequencies and the things that's on the app here, and I hadn't been hearing no one. I happened just to touch this one right here, and I just throw out my call letters, and I heard you talking, and anyway, it's my first time you don't hear, and it seems to be it's gonna be okay, be all right. I can hear you pretty good, and I talk a lot on 2 meters. Yeah, the name here, Don, Delta Oscar November, and like I said, I'm in Rutherford County. And I'd like to ask some questions if anybody knows what may be wrong with my Kenwood TS520S. I turn it on, and the relay seems to be chattering just a little bit after it's turned on, and I thought maybe somebody in the group may know. And the DS meter goes all the way over in the corner. It's just on receive only. But anyway, I just get in here and try this thing out and see what's going on.
All right, there. I think we confirmed your call sign. I'm just waiting for some head nods in our Zoom call here. We got a confirmed call sign, right? Somebody nod their head. Okay. I'll shoot you an email a little bit later on tonight, and we have a chat program we use with about, I think we're up to 200 or so members now, and I'm sure somebody in there could give you a in-depth answer, as we've got people that like to mess with all the various aspects of ham radio and different equipment. So I'll as long as you have an email on your QRZ account. Nope, no email. Okay. Well, okay, so look me up on QRZ. I will read off my call sign again. Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima. And message me, give me an email, and I'll reply to it with a link to our platform where you could get some answers and hopefully get some help with the problem that you're running into. I will pass it back to you, and then we're going to move on and see if anybody else wants to check in. So come back, please.
All right. Okay, Connor. K7C BL Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima. Well, I'll get up here and like I said, it's my first time on Echolink, and I'll get up here and say, "Send please." It was nice talking to you. And maybe I'll get back on here later on, and maybe during the day. I believe I got better signal during the day than I do at night. But anyway, 73 is from Kilo Bravo 4, Mike Yankee Hotel, Don in Rutherford County, North Carolina. 73. Have a good night.
All right, 7-3 is good to hear from you. We'll open it up again. Is there anybody that wants to check into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net? Your net control, Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima. Please come now. We got one check-in. Normally we get more with the VVR because people are connected to the VVR from everywhere. All right, with nothing heard there, I'm going to pass it on to Servando. He's been eager to make his comment. So, K6 SRV, what you want to say? Go ahead.
Kilo 6 Sierra Romeo Victor. Hey, I was just touching up on what Jim was saying about the nets, how everyone does something, everyone does something different. It's either super formal or, pretty lax, which is cool because you can, if you like formality, hey, you can roll with the formality. You can check in, you can continue going to that net, or you can just listen if you like. And then the good thing about radio is you can switch over to another band, man, and find something that's more your speed. And that's the cool thing about ham radio. Another thing that I've noticed is that if you're on the digital side of things, like Don, who just checked in, a lot of people are like, because it's digital and there's so many ways of like people talking to each other and like cross modes and all this stuff, a lot of people like to like the weather, they like to like, how many packet loss am I getting, or am I coming in strong, or this or that. And it's pretty, I think it's kind of, it's not funny. It's just pretty, it's unique. So like the digital guys will worry about the digital stuff. The HF guys will worry about their, how strong they're coming in from wherever they are. And then on the repeater side, it's same thing, but how's a repeater doing? So if you're on W6 VVR, that's a common question, right? So, yeah, and then I got this list. I'm going to break here for a second.
Yeah, we have to. So, when we drop, and for anybody viewing that's wondering this, we have a habit of timing out repeaters. Oh, there's a few individuals, wink, wink, that will time out the repeaters the most. One of which is waving right now. A couple aren't here. We have to drop for an unusual amount of time to let all of our digital connections actually drop, because there's a lot of delay, up to 5 seconds I think it is of delay, especially when we're talking about FreeSTAR, which is on the other side of the pond. So anybody wondering, that's why we drop as long as we do, just to make sure that anybody that wants to break in can at any time. So I'm going to key it up and pass it off to you, Servando. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Kilo 6 Sierra Romeo Victor. Sorry, my baby just turned off my power strip here, so I lost everything. So no, I found this list online about formalities, and they really harp on like CB talk, whatever that means. And they say that, CB jargon is used on CB exclusively, and it should not ever be used on ham. And then they give examples like, what's your handle? Or they say over, or they say Roger, or 10-4. And it says that you can ruffle some feathers super quick if you use the CB talk, right? I hear people say Roger, Roger all the time on HF. I hear people say 10-4. A lot of people say over. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Well, I guess what I'm saying is if you're a new ham and you're looking up, I know when I first started, I didn't want to mess up. I Googled everything. I was like, how do you get on the repeater? What do you say? People are pretty cool, man. They're pretty cool out there, and they're pretty forgiving. And for anyone listening in that's new, and you're listening and you're timid and you don't want to check in or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just know that ham radio is all about learning. You're gonna ruffle some feathers, maybe. I do it, once or twice here and there. The whole point is just learning, and you'll figure things out. And I guess the formalities, like Jim said, there's some strict rules, for Part 97 that you have to follow per the FCC. But for the most part, what the formality part of it, I think, is this is just me talking. It's ham radio operators. We like to police ourselves, so we have some level of formality. And because we spent all this time testing and getting our licenses, I think it's a good thing. Some formality is good. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, some formality is good. So I'll leave it for Jim, Bert, Dan, if you guys want to chime in.
I'd be more than happy to take over.
There you go.
Formalities.
Let's
and
let it drop really quick.
Sure.
Don't forget call signs.
Yeah. Ham radio police. You gonna pass it off to you, Dan?
Yes, sir.
We'll do Dan, and then we'll throw it to Bert, because I know Bert has a story, and then we'll throw it to Jim with Aaron's story, and then Kellen. I don't know if you're still there, but I'll after Jim's done with his story or Aaron's story, then we'll pass it to you, and then I think we'll open it up for any more check-ins, and then we will just vibe out in the Zoom. Okay, so
Connor,
CBL with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We're going to pass it off to... Oh, did you have something to say? Should I drop the radio?
just tell me when to drop if you need me to.
Okay, I'll interrupt you. All right, we're going to pass it on to Dan, November 6, Echo Tango Romeo. Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you, Connor. This is November 6, Echo Tango Romeo, Dan in South Vacaville. I wanted to comment on the necessities of the formality presented in ham radio. And I tried Google searching this to come up with some hard facts, but the reality of it is the organizations that control how we speak on radio, the FCC for ham radio or the FAA for aviation relevant stuff, or even the military, all have their own literature on how formalities work with radio communication, but they don't list why. And so here's some speculation that I thought that I'd offer the group. One thing that you have to consider, regardless if you're a ham or any other radio communicator, is that the difference between operating a radio versus talking with someone in person is that you lose the visual aspect of the communication and you lose your presence within the room. So I'd like to offer 3 examples here. You walk into a room, there's 30 chairs facing forward, 1 chair facing towards the other 30. That's a classroom environment. You see 3, 4, 5 chairs facing 1 chair. That's more of an interview or a questioning environment. And then you see chairs that wrap around a rectangular table or a round table. That is a table to confer. It's a conference table. And so the purpose of the net and signifying who is a net control operator and taking check-ins and itemization like Jim spoke of earlier is that because you lack the visual aspect of the environment you're in, the speaking environment you're in, it has to be noted audibly so that everyone listening on the frequency understands their purpose and when they're allowed to speak. And so that's kind of something that I wanted to point out. Another great example is something we take for granted, the visualization aspect of communication. Like I've actually spoke personally with everybody here in this Zoom call and on this net, this anti-net at field day. And as human beings, we naturally sort of form a circle, either around a fire or something that doesn't exist at all. And we rely on our eyes to determine who is speaking by their mouth moving, even the Doppler effect. And you lose all of these features when you're speaking over radio. So that's why it is very important to drop.
Timed out P25, I guess.
Sorry.
Oh, listen to that latency. Wow. Okay, let's let it chill for a second. I saw the yellow light go out from my repeater, so I was like, yeah, I think we timed a few things out. Let's give it a second. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is November 6, Echo Tango Romeo, Dan, continuing on. So just wrapping up, as human beings, when we're speaking in person, we take for granted the visual cues that are presented to us in communication, how we're configured with our other folks or around a table or whatever. The Doppler effect, you can hear who's talking, like what position, and you can see them moving, their lips moving. So these are all sorts of little cues that we miss in radio communication, which is why it is especially important that we state these things audibly. So that's kind of my little speech. I'll chime in later if I have anything else. This is November 6, Echo Tango Romeo.
This is AA7HR. Dan, that was awesome.
Thank you.
All right, let's break for some check-ins before we pass it to you, Jim. Or we'll go to Bert. Sorry, my bad. All right, we're going to stop the rambling here for a minute and check if anybody wants to check into our net. Got the it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, 12 YouTube viewers. Again, if you're hearing us on the radio, check us out on YouTube at the Northwest Ham Shack, or just Northwest Ham Shack. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out our Discord group, which is in the description of this stream on YouTube, and our website, which is also in the description, but for people on the RF side is 2metercrew.net. 2metercrew.net. We will break it here for any stations that want to make a comment or check in, say hi. I know there's a lot of people with their radios on. They might have turned their radios off because of us. Who knows? They might have muted us or nuisance deleted us from their scan list. So any station wishing to check in, make a comment. If you already checked in, you want to say something about the last circle we just had there, yeah, please come now. K7 CBL with the 2-meter crew anti-net. Dan, the cold fire from field day. You were there, right? The cold fire? I think you... Servando was there. I found, dude, that popped up on my my phone the other day. My summer recap, and it was the cold fire, that a picture of it when Nick and I first were standing around the fire pit. That was a good one.
Was that off in the corner at like midnight, 1 o'clock?
No,
when,
it was like midnight, right, Servando?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, the cold.
Yeah,
fire.
when all of the other hams were in bed, we were.
we were doing anything but ham radio. We were just standing there talking about dumb stuff.
We look like
let me
roosting
just take
chickens.
Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, I'll bring it back around again. Anybody that wishes to check in or just say hi or want to pitch into the conversation, please come now. K7 CBL. Those conversations, man. At least I don't need a permission slip anymore. Kellen still bullies me about it. Wow, nobody, dude.
Must not be
That's
getting out.
crazy. We got all these digital connections. I think we benefit from having the VVR connected for sure, because there's a lot of people connected to VVR. But I don't want to jam the repeater up with the high-pitched squeal, so hopefully that's fixed by next week.
Hopefully.
All right. I'm going to pass it on to you in a minute here, Bert.
All right.
Okay, with nothing heard, that won't be the last opportunity. Don't worry about it. But I'm going to pass it on to Bert, November 6th, Echo Foxtrot Radio. I almost mixed up my phonetics there with the other phonetics. So, Bert, you have a story about Pacificon. You want to tell us about it?
Yep. So this is Bert, N6 EFR. So I was at Pacificon on Saturday, and I had a question for everybody. So I was using the call sign W1 Alpha W stroke 6, and I was in a QSO with another station down in San Diego. I can't remember his call right now, but at the end of the QSO, I told him what my call sign is, my regular call sign, the N6 EFR, and he was looking that up, and then he wanted to know he wanted to know what to log in as, whether the W1A6 stroke 6, did I say it right? AW stroke 6, or my call sign, or should he log in both for me? So I was like, I wasn't sure really how that would work for logs and stuff. N6 CFR. Anybody?
Yeah, let's break and see if anyone has anything to say. Oh, I think we lost Kellen. Yeah, we lost Kellen.
Sleep.
Rest in peace. Does anybody want to make a comment on Bert's question? You want to say it again, Bert, just in case someone didn't hear it? Just the question part.
All right. Are we good?
Yeah, go ahead. We're transmitting.
So N6 EFR. So I wanted to know if when you're in a situation where you're using another call sign for like a group, like say like in like we did for field day if we were using W6 VVR or something like that, and you put out your regular call sign as well, just to let them know what your regular call sign is, would you be logging in as, would they log you in as your regular call sign or the group call sign kind of thing? I wasn't sure really how that would work for him.
I'm going to read off a comment before we open it up on the radio side. Nick and KN6DAL is commenting on the YouTube saying if you're operating under W1AW/6, that's all he would need to log for you, I believe. If somebody wants to correct that or answer Bert's question, please come now. Call Nick out there. Just checks in from bed. He's probably behind his desk.
He's
The
just
mental
online.
capacity is difficult to gain getting on this net. I get it.
It's formalities.
All right, you want me to pass it back to you, Bert, or is that all you really had?
I think that's all I had.
Okay, I'll pass it back to go back to Jim, right, Jim, for his question. Okay, or his thingy. Yeah. Okay, well, with nothing heard, I'm gonna pass it back on to Alpha 7 Hotel Romeo. Last time, again, I almost switched up my phonetics on you. Let's time out a couple repeaters. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Jim, with a story that was from one of our own coordinators. You want to read that off and then make?
Yeah, this is Jim A7HR, and so talking about formalities, you frequently will hear on net that the very beginning they'll say if there's any priority traffic, say break, and if it's an emergency, say break, or something to that effect. So this thing that I'm going to relay this information to you, one of our coordinators on the 18th of October had a situation where some priority traffic was coming through. I don't think it was during a net. This guy was just listening to, he was working and listening to one of the repeaters around here, similar to what I do. I must have missed this because I didn't hear it. But somebody came in with some priority traffic, and this person was asking for a relay for a hunter that was off of a highway 108 and a forest road in the High Sierra, whose truck was stuck. And you know, if you're off of a forest road, chances are you've got no cell service. And so, but this guy had a radio, and so he was radioing in to get a relay to information. So significant amount of snow the night before, they got stuck, and so he was able to connect the hunter with his family via relay when and where they could meet him in Sonora, which is the town he was closest to. He was catching a ride, but his truck was stuck. And so it's just another example of that. I would say that's probably one of the more formal formalities on any net. In fact, we even do it, even though we call ourselves the anti-net, which is like this whole rebellious thing. We're not a net. We're opposite of a net. We still say at the beginning that if there's any priority traffic, all you have to do is say break, or if it's an emergency, say break, and we will drop everything and give you the airwaves. So just a cool example, a real life example, not during a net, but still somebody was looking for, they needed some help and they got it. Yay for ham radio.
All right, let's give it a second. Yeah, it's a good story. I don't think that's the first one that we've ever heard, though, which is the sad part about the whole thing. Wish it would be the first and the last, but at least he had a radio. Benefits of ham radio, anybody on the YouTube side. Get your license if you're not licensed, because if you get stuck or in a really bad situation and you can't embrace the suckiness of the situation and you need help and you don't have a cell phone, radio. Natural disaster, cell phones don't work, radio does, because no matter how big of an earthquake or fire there is, it doesn't affect the airwaves. Asterisk, because particles from smoke can't affect the airwaves, but You still can transmit. At least your phone is not your radio is not a dud when the cell towers go out. So, Jim, is that it, or you want me to come back?
No, I'm good. That was it.
Okay. All right. Servando, anybody? Just raise your hand if you have something. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pass it on to Servando. K6SRV once again has something. Go ahead, Servando.
Kilo 6 Sierra Romeo Victor. Hey, I just wanted to mention you don't need, so in an emergency, so say you just so happen to have a ham radio with you and you're not licensed, if you have an emergency, you can use that radio to get help. Pretty sure, I don't know if that's well known, but you can, doesn't mean, I'm not saying don't get licensed because you can use your radio under emergency. I think everyone should get licensed if you're interested in ham radio, because there's so much to learn on how to like set up your radio and the repeaters and just, oh my God, on and on. One thing that I wanted to bring up was repeaters. And, you know, when I first got my license, I'd read somewhere that, you know, it's not really customary, but it's proper etiquette that if you frequent a repeater a lot, you probably ought to look that repeater up and see if they have some kind of like club, and maybe think about joining that repeater club or you know, pitch in a little bit or whatever. It usually costs are super low. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a repeater, you know, cost you a whole lot of money, but I think it's good etiquette. I think it's something good. You know, if you frequent a repeater, you know, to help out, because so much goes into keeping things alive and connections. And we know this here at the Antinet because we see Connor and Nick and everyone going through all these systems checks and making all these connections and stuff. I mean, I think it's just something proper to do, or at least take into consideration. I don't know. What do you guys think? K6SRV.
It's
Anybody have
N6
anything to
EFR.
say on that?
It's N6 EFR. I think you should always just throw like a couple bucks. You know, it's one of those things where you can, just so that the owner of it is you know, compensated in some way, just so that they already have this up or whatever, and just so that everybody can use it all the time or whatever. I mean, it's a good way to do it. Just going through a club or something like that, give a couple bucks in. It's like, hey, I get to use it all the time. You know, it's pretty much 24/7 that you can use it.
I'll throw something into that. K7 CBL. You know, some people own their radio sites and some don't. And some people might not believe this, but a spot on a tower and in a rack of a radio site costs more than a San Francisco Bay Area studio apartments for monthly rent, which around here can be close to $5,000 if I'm not mistaken. It's really expensive. Radio sites can almost be double of that. It depends on where they're located, their elevation, line of sight. It's expensive. So if the site owner doesn't own it, they're providing a free service to anybody in the hobby that wants to check in, and the money's coming out of their pocket. So it always is a nice thing to become a member. And if it's a club, a lot of clubs have benefits for members. I mean, you know, you get a cool name tag with some of them. You get cool merch like the one Servando's wearing, the hat. You know, that you get to rep the brand in a way. You know, there's all different sorts of cool things of becoming members of clubs, or, you know, helping out your repeater owner. And, you know, the worst thing that could happen is what happens if you have a really high coverage repeater and the site rent is too much or something fails and the owner's just like, well, especially if it's a club and they're like, well, we don't have the money to do it, so I guess we're going to have to shut down. Well, then, you know, there's one asset to the hobby gone, and, you know, it's a really big thing. I saw Dan rose his hand, so we're going to let the repeaters drop for a second, and then we're going to pass it to Dan there. This is K7 CBL with the Antinet. Yeah, man. 16 viewers. Woo!
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go ahead.
This is November 6th, Echo Tango Romeo, Dan in Vacaville. I just wanted to reassure, joining a club. So when I first received my technician's license, I got my Baofeng. I was stoked. I was so scared. I called Kellen on the cell phone and said, "Hey, can you get on your radio so I can practice talking to you?" And he brought me onto the Vaca Valley Radio Club net. And so my heart's beating and I'm about to call in as a visitor check-in. And I'm like, oh, wow, I just made my evening. And then, after a while talking to Kellen about his experience with the membership, it's like, dude, I don't know, it's 25, 30, 35 bucks. I forget what it costs, but it's pretty minuscule in the grand scheme of things for the annual club membership cost. And so I thought, I joined, pay the money or whatever. And now my name's on the roll call. That's cool. I can attend some meetings. And to this day, the camaraderie has been excellent. I've gotten to meet all these guys in person. And I found too that, initially I was scared to take too much, I don't know. I was scared to participate in the club, but I found that really the club is as great as the members that join it. Right now, VVR is reaching out for committee members and stuff like that. And I would encourage any ham that has done multiple guest check-ins on one of their local clubs to just spend the money and just join for a year and feel it out. Because there's some great hams out there that'll help you out, or they're just fun to talk to. So that's my 2 cents. November 6th, Echo Tango Romeo.
Okay, 7 CBL. I'll move on to you in a second, Jim. Yeah, I'm gonna add to the camaraderie, and I think Jim. Yeah, I think Dan said the whole thing about standing in a circle. Somebody said standing in a circle. Yeah, there's certain things that we do that I don't think there was. Let's see, field day's 3 days long. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't think there was a day that we went without standing in a big circle and just talking and then going right off topic, like no problem, and being children laughing during the briefing on Saturday morning. It's super fun. That was my summer activity. There's not much to do for my age group. So for me being in ham radio, that was definitely fun. But yeah, I encourage anybody to become a member of their local club. If you see fit, there's no pressure to do it, but you benefit by having a great group of people behind you, and going to club meetings is when you meet people, and who knows, you might have a broken antenna, or a question about an antenna, or a broken radio, and your local club is going to be where you want to go. Some of them take dues, some of them don't. Some of them are open. Anybody can come to the meetings or the events. Some of them are closed and private events. It really all depends, but it's a great positive to being part of a ham club. That's for sure, because we all, I think we all have in some way, everybody here has been in the Two-Mirror Crew Anti-Net has benefited from being a part of any club, not just the W6 VVR club, but just any club in general. It just happens to be that pretty much all of us are members of the W6 VVR club, so that's kind of a home plate for us. So before I pass it to Jim, I'll open it up again for check-ins. It's been a little bit quiet. I'm hoping that somebody checks in. Anybody that can hear my voice that wishes to check in, add anything to the discussion, or just say hi, please come now. This is Kilo 7, Charlie Bravo Lima, the anti-net coordinator in control. I'm going to pass it to Jim, and then does anybody have anything else to say before we open the Zoom? Over the radio, at least, so that we can open Zoom, let people join if they want. Good talk. All right, so... All right, hearing none, I'll pass it on to Mr. Timeout, the new official nickname of Alpha Alpha 7, Henry Radio. Oh, there it is. The wrong phonetics. Go ahead, Jim.
That's all right. It's All American 7 ham radio. Let's just get it right there. That's my personal phonetics. So much for formality. That just went out the window. So going back to what Dan was talking about and what Serrano was talking about, both of you guys were talking about, join a club and get the hat. I'm a member of 5 clubs. 2 of them are not in this state. I can't even talk to them. One of them doesn't have an Echolink. Oh no, I'm sorry. 4 in California, 2 in other states. Just because when I had visited those places, I really liked the club, and I was like, hey, 25, 35 bucks, that's no big deal. I can't say it's a day or two worth of Starbucks because I don't drink that swill. So yeah, you heard me right. Jimmy don't like Starbucks. That's garbage coffee. And so anyway, anyway, the point is that so the point is, support your local club, support the ones that they're paying for that repeater, they're maintaining it and stuff like that. And you might find some friends along the way. That's my message. I'm sticking to it. And I'm not going to apologize. I hate Starbucks, man. Okay, I'm done. AA7HR.
All right, this is K7CBL. We're going to go ahead and post the Zoom link in the YouTube chat if you want to join us. We're live on YouTube, Northwest Ham Shack. Like and subscribe. I'll push that all day. Come join us on the Zoom. Say hi. I'll put that link in here in a second when I drop the radio. So, without hearing anything else on the air, it's been a pretty quiet night. I think we had one check-in, right? Oh, well, we had Servando. But, it's all right. It's all good. But anybody that wants to join us, we'll have it in the YouTube chat here momentarily. With nothing from the other coordinators, because I already asked the question. No one raised their hand. We're not going to ramble on about the weather or traffic or gas prices, so don't worry about that, anybody that's listening. We're not like that sometimes. But, yeah. Hope everybody enjoyed on the RF side. Thank you to everybody that let us connect and let us time out your repeaters and burn your transmitters up a little bit. And hopefully we woke somebody up in the middle of their sleep that forgets to turn their radio off before they go to bed. With that, I'll say 7 threes from myself and on behalf of the coordinator group here. Thank you for listening. YouTube chat has the link momentarily. This is Kilo 7, Charlie Bravo Lima, saying 7 threes and returning the repeaters back to normal use. All right, hold on. I got to get this stupid Zoom link in the chat thing. God, you got me talking more than I wanted to.
Because you're a talker.
Yeah, that voice, sultry voice.
Just spam the chat with the link right now. Alright, now I gotta go DM Nick and be like, Nick, take the links down, man. Take the links down.
Well, guys, I gotta go. I haven't actually eaten dinner yet.
What?
Yeah,
Thanks, Dan.
it was a fun meeting. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, man.
Ciao.
Good having you. I love what you said earlier. That was great.
Yeah, that was great, man.
That was
Thank
really
you.
good stuff.
Thank you. I'll try to be as impressive next week. We'll see you, fellas.
All right, Dan.
All
All right, take care.
Take care, dude.
Bye.
Hey, we do grind our own beans here, Jim. All right.
You got the grinder.
Hey,
You know what we
I'm
do?
not- hold on. Nick, I'm not camera shy. I see you calling me out in chat. I'm not camera shy. I'm not fancy like you. I don't have 5 cameras pointed in each direction with a green screen behind me.
I was gonna ask why you're not turning on your camera. Usually you have it on, Connor.
So I can turn. Okay, so I have streaming software. What we're using to YouTube. It's called OBS, Open Broadcast Software, and it holds my camera hostage, right? And when I can't use my camera otherwise on any, because you can't use the same camera source on any other application, only one at a time. So basically right now there's no way that I could turn that camera on. It would just be a black screen. I can patch it into the YouTube, but I don't think anybody wants to stare at me doing weird faces, so that's why.
Doesn't it?
So Nick, if you're in chat and you want to come hang out and say hi to us, come on. Come say hi to your best friends. Your weird radio friends.
He's supposed to be resting.
It's okay. Resting with us. That is the most restless thing you could do, actually.
You can't be in the garage.
Yeah. That's why they made phones. We'll wait a couple of minutes here. And I'll post the Zoom link a couple more times.
Dude, 40 meters is lit tonight, bro.
Well, you might get off early to get onto it.
I got my antenna going to the street pole across the street, dude. I'm
Across the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on, three.
Ghetto, huh?
Jeez.
I was like, that's not up to code. You might get a knock on the door by the city. We here at the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net don't endorse that activity.
It's a cul-de-sac, dude.
Now the answer is when they come knocking, you're like, oh man, that's been there since I moved in. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I'll take it down for you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's only temporary. It's testing. It's not an antenna. It's a piece of wire. It's just a rope. I'm guying off the light pole to my house.
I'm on a S1, S2 noise floor, dude. That's unheard of.
Oh my god.
What
To
the hell?
a metal pole, or are they the fiberglass ones? Because some cities went fiberglass on their light poles depending on the height. I heard. Could have sworn I heard something about it. Like a fiberglass with a steel core.
Huh. I don't know.
It's a way for them to be able. I've seen it in a couple of occasions, and it's to remove like graffiti. They can just pull it's a clamshell pretty much. It's a semicircle, and they're security Torxes, and they can pull them off to get rid of graffiti because people go put stickers on them and stuff like that.
Right.
It's mainly rich neighborhoods that do it because they don't want to see tape residue on their light posts.
Ew.
Yeah.
Naughty. That would be very, very offensive.
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
don't want that.
Oh my
Nobody
God.
on the Zoom. Adam, you're talking in chat, man. Ditch sleep. Come hang out with us. No, I'm kidding. Well, if we don't have anybody hop in here, I'm going to say we could probably just call it because I don't really have too much to talk about. We have 13 people watching right now. I wonder how many of them fell asleep to our boringness.
No, it was good, man. What are you talking about?
I was not prepared. I went for
It was real
I was
good.
like Marshawn Lynch, man. I was just here so I won't get fined.
I'll laugh at that, but I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
Doing power polls.
Power
That
pole.
last name looks familiar in chat. I don't know if that's
What are you looking at?
I'm looking in chat in the YouTube chat.
YouTube chat.
Somebody
Nick-
named Nick.
Nick-
I don't know if
Nick
that's
Lutz.
yeah, the last name looks familiar. Hey Robert, if that's you, you can join our Zoom call. Oh, nope, never mind. That's not my friend.
W6A9K.
Yeah, wrong person. It's a non-ham guy that I have that has the same last name. I don't know if he had some other account he was using. Yeah, come join our Zoom. I'll post it like 5 more times again. We are coming up on an hour and 10 minutes here at 9:08 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And
Still daylight, brother. Daylight
4
time.
a.m. It is not daylight. Dude, I got in the car.
PDT, I don't care what you say. The government says it's PDT, and I believe everything the government says.
It's
They're gonna
daylight.
help us.
Yeah. Just like the birds, right? The drone birds.
The drone birds. What
no,
is that?
so the people that think birds are drones for the government, that kind of joke.
Birds are drones? I missed
Yeah,
that one.
you didn't
Yeah,
know
you missed
that?
that one? That was just like
No,
the
dude.
killer hornets, the murder hornets. Remember?
How many? What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it went right over everything when the big old 19 came along and squashed all the funny things on the news. You weren't around for that, I guess, huh? That was a funny one. But what was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was gonna. Oh yeah, so I got to get ups to go to an appointment I had today, and I opened the door to go to the car and it's just raining and I'm like, I have new tires coming in 2 weeks, so I get in the car, I back out of the driveway, I pull off, I feel a little bit of a tire spin. I was like, okay, maybe my lead foot syndrome is making it a little difficult because a big 6.2 liter V8. And I get down the
impressed,
block
dude.
and I make a left turn just to make sure that I can handle it. And I make the left turn, and I'm only going, I can't complete stop, not even 5 miles an hour. My rear end slides out. I make another turn, same thing. So I go back home. I pick up the truck, I don't know what I was thinking, but the truck is a Ford F-150 extended bed, crew cab. So I get in the truck, and I do the same thing, and I spin. I spin tires right out of the driveway, and I got on the 101. That was a interesting one. I've drove in the rain. I don't have
Connor.
a problem. My yeah.
You should know this, dude.
You gotta slow
You should
down.
know this. It's CVC 22350. Unsafe speed for conditions. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But in a 5 miles an hour, I don't have any tread on my tires. So,
Doesn't matter. For
yeah.
conditions. For conditions.
Yeah.
That's the catch-all, dude. You're screwed. You're done.
Exactly.
You're done.
So I took the drive and I came back. So I'm just waiting on the new tires to get there for the global mobile, if that's what you.
Hey man, we were all 15 once, dude. Running around in like freaking watermelon skin freaking tires, dude.
Oh God, no, mine aren't bad. Except I think we've only changed the tires 2 or 3 times since we got the vehicle. We got it certified pre-owned, I believe, back in 2014, and it was a 2013 model. It was just a chauffeur car. So
You changed the tires 3 times already on like 4 sets.
2 times. I think it's 2 times.
Holy
This
shit.
is coming up on the 3rd time. Well,
What are you doing to those
Sideshows,
tires?
dude. Sideshows.
nah, you think a Tahoe could do that, dude?
Oh,
I
it can, dude. It can.
Oh my! Well, we broke the 4-wheel drive right off the gate. It doesn't want to go back in the 4-wheel drive now. It does it, but it doesn't like to do it, and that was because my dad decided to do some stupid stuff on private property, of course, and now we don't have 4-wheel drive, but it won't engage. But you know, I see a lot of people when I'm driving. I would hope so. Hope people are on the road. Well, I wish people weren't on the road, but man, let me tell you, the amount of times that I've heard, I wish there was CHP there for that. And every time I see someone do something stupid, I just see all white flying up from rear. And I'm just like, oh, yep, that car is very effective. They don't see the black and white doors, so they don't think it's a cop, and they do something stupid. And sure enough, they get the wee woo and get pulled over. So,
Hey, what are you guys doing in the ham radio world, dude? What are you guys working on? What do you guys got going on? Bert, man, I haven't seen you in a long time, man.
Long time. Let's see. I got that Arden node thing. I have to figure out how to get that thing.
You're
set
doing
up.
the Arden thing too,
I can
man?
help you out,
Well,
Bert.
I got like that node from the Pacificon.
Jim.
It's like, hey, sign up
That's
for
right.
the node. Like,
Yeah, you heard
Alright.
Greg's
I
presentation on
see
it, right?
you. I see you, Jim.
Did
Jesus.
you join the Slack? You gotta join the Slack. You have I'll shoot
Slack
you a
is
link.
like crack, man. Slack is
Yes.
like crack.
Yeah, I hit Jim up the second I saw him join it. So it's like you can go there and get. I can help you set the thing up. Did they give you? Did they just give you a radio? Did they give you a
That
hap?
flashed. The whole thing is flashed. All you gotta do is hook it up.
Did they give you a hap or no?
Yeah, it's got everything.
Well, I'm saying, did they give you the router or did they just give you the radio?
Oh no, no router.
Okay, so did they give you a PoE injector?
It comes with it. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
Yes.
PO injector?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is that?
those are PoE. Yeah, so I'll send you. Jim saw my install, because Jim was here for that. So
I just put on a
it's-
pole and
so
stick it outside. What?
So what you do, and I've probably got. I mean, Jim's got the knowledge, but I think I've been the one that's messed with it the most physically. There's this really, I would show you, but it would hurt everybody watching. So there's this thing. So you set the thing up, right? Use your it has a PoE injector, as far as what Jim told me, and you get it up and you configure it. Put your new don't use the default password, because like everybody got handed one. It's the same password. You get your information in and set it up, and I can walk you through it. It's fairly simple. And then there's this tool with it, and it's the mesh status button, and you click on that, and you click on the audio, and you turn on audio, and it'll basically have different pitch tones, and you want the highest pitch tone that you can get. And you basically point the thing around to different locations and try to find somebody. I can probably help you out, and I can tell you who's closest to you that you could point at. But you want to look for a station that's established, because there's certain stations that are on the air but are fairly new. You want to look for an established, like a lot of people, I believe, got them, if I'm not mistaken, at Pacificon.
Yeah, they get quite a few away.
Yeah, so you want to find, and this is not dissing on anybody from Pacificon that got one, but you want to find somebody that has had one established. And I know quite a few over in the East Bay, but we can look. We can sit down sometime and look at it. But basically, I'll give you a rough bearing of a couple locations from your house that you'll point to. And then you'll just listen back for this high-pitched tone. And it'll change tone depending on the dB of the signal coming in. So like mine is super low. I only have an 8 dB connection, but that's because there's not a lot of people in my area that have one right now. And it's like a bomb tone. But then when you spin over to somebody that's really strong, it's like beep. So basically you can zero bead via an audible tone. And that's a really big benefit.
What does it sound like? What does it sound like, Connor?
No, it's a really I'll pull mine up just to show you what it sounds like, since it sounds like you want to hear it, Servand. Oh wait, no, I don't have an RF node plugged in right now. I'm tunneled in because I got problems. Okay, Kellen, say something.
Kellen heard Arden Mesh and he immediately
Yeah, Kellen heard digital. Kellen, digital. No, I'm kidding.
All right, guys. I got stuck with the repeater conversation with some of the Cal OES guys.
Oh, nice.
Cool. You got the cool kids, cooler than us.
Yeah.
They are cooler.
Yeah.
They're yes.
Just straight up says
definitely
yes.
smarter.
Just no denying it. Just yes. You guys are not cool enough.
You know, I had to tell them about my sweet Pacificon pickups, and they're like, yeah, it's a good start.
What, did you get any? Did you get anything Motorola? Because Jim messaged me a picture. Because and hold on, Jim. I'm just gonna read what you said. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to the picture. It's a picture of a Motorola Quantar. It's a repeater. One word, Jim response: Moto. Sent straight to me, just Moto.
Yep.
That's one thing you have to be careful with at swap meets, is you don't have a service monitor to check, and you don't have a way to power the thing up and do a test. So be careful when you buy things at swap meets, even if they say they're tested and okay, unless they come from someone that you know, or it has some type of paperwork with showing that it has been tuned and aligned, that every module has passed the okay, and that's for any repeater, not just Motorola. And duplexers, because I know who bought the duplexer. Someone bought it, right, Jim? Who bought it?
That was Kellen.
Okay, Kellen knows this, but I'm just saying this broad for everybody. If you buy a duplexer tuned to your specific frequency for your repeater or whatever you need it for, and it arrives at your door, it'll still be in the rough range. Let's just say you're using 440.0 as your receive and your transmit is 446.0. That's just a rough frequency. Don't get on me about it. But during shipping, it most likely will, because of bumps and everything like that, it will probably be at like 440.00125. It will slightly change. So, and a nano VNA, most people think they are. A nano VNA is not good for duplexer tuning. I will openly stand by that with all my knowledge behind it. They're not good for duplexer tuning. You can get a rough estimate to see that they're in the range, but they don't get down low enough to show the actual spectrum. Because you want to see, when you tune a duplexer, you want to see a very small line at your desired frequency, which means that's dead on. And anytime you transport a duplexer, such as moving it from your home to a repeater site, you want to make sure that you bring your equipment to the site and tune your duplexer again at the site, or at least check it to make sure it's good, because any little movement can actually mess with the tuning of the duplexer, and that can benefit into high SWRs, completely wrong frequencies. And always make sure that you put your inputs to your inputs and your outputs to your outputs, or you'd be like me, and after 8 hours of working on a repeater site, you get tired and you accidentally hook up your duplexer backwards, and then you drive all the way home after you lock the site up and check out with security to key up your repeater and realize it's not there for some reason. So then you have to make another trip back up to the hill, flip the connectors around, I always double check, make sure it's tuned, hook it up and test it again to make sure it's working. So always be careful with that when buying a duplexer online if it says it comes pre-tuned to your desired frequency. Make sure you have some means to tune it.
You heard it, dude. That's the ABCs. Always be careful.
Yeah, always be careful. You never want a high SWR and repeater. Some can handle it. Motorola, I can attest to this, Motorola just straight up won't transmit if the SWR, they don't measure an SWR, it's called return loss, but they will not transmit if the SWR is high.
So what are you guys using Arden Mesh for? How do you guys like?
Well, here, I wish I could turn my camera on.
Hold on.
I got a phone.
So why did I take one of these other than the fact that it was free? Well, I was interested in Arden Mesh. Free stuff. Right. I got stickers too, man. Look, I met Ham Radio dude, and I got a sticker from him. I got that, and then I got the Bay Area Mesh. I got that. But the reason I wanted it was because there is no Arden nodes out here except for 2. And this guy had 900 megahertz. He's upgraded to 5.8 gig. So I reached out to him, but he hasn't answered me yet. So I'm going to drive over there and punch him in the face and say, dude, I emailed you 3 days ago. What's up? But what I want to be able to do is get on their whole network. And the reason Arden Mesh is attractive is it does not depend on the internet. It is its own little internet is really what it is. I mean, you can hook it to the internet if you want to. You can tunnel over the internet from mesh to mesh. You can do all kinds of stuff and use the internet. But the fact of the matter is you can make it fully independent of the internet. So what you have is high-speed digital communications and digital platforms. And they have every single kind of application that you've used on your regular old internet, right? You can do web browsing. They have voice over IP applications on it, and you can buy fairly cheap little VoIP handsets and hook that up to the mesh, and you can make phone calls across the mesh, irrelevant of the internet. The only thing is that you need backup power for your Arden nodes, because why? You might lose your power. But if you lose your power and you've got backup power on that thing, then you still can operate as long as you've got power for your computer that's hooked up to it as well. So to me,
I've actually got a comment on that one for sure. But continue
on. Anyway, that's what's interesting to me about it.
I was gonna say about backup power for those. It's almost required because you're trying to have a grid down network. So
right, absolutely. That's the whole idea, is that you still have a very good and robust digital network. They even have old-fashioned BBS software that they run on it, and they've got like IRC, the Internet Relay Chat. They've got a similar application. And the thing is, all the applications are open source, so it's not like you got to fork out a crap load of money for software. You don't need to. So it's pretty cool what's been happening. And it's been around for about 17 or 18 years. It's not new, a new thing. It's just becoming, not in the mainstream necessarily, but there's a lot more exposure to it. You see a lot more press about it, and they're showing up at ham radio conventions all over the place now. So.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's all ham radio, so it's all good. I see APRS is gaining some traction again too, which is pretty cool, and a lot of like HF APRS, which is pretty interesting. That's really it's got my attention, so that's cool, man.
Yeah, they were even talking about at some of the sessions I went to. Some guys were talking about Packet is kind of making a little bit of a resurgence, because everybody's like, oh, Packet's dead, Packet. Okay, so it's slower than molasses in January, but you know what? It still works. It's still an effective, protocol and platform that you can use if you want to. I've not used it, but there were a lot of people, and they weren't all old geezers either. They weren't all the old guys that were 65, 75, 85 years old. They were, young, spry fellas like me.
I got a comment about Arden before we go too far on about it. So I just had a 22 to 23 hour power outage. No power, like, at all, other than battery backup, which now Kellen gave me some advice, so that won't be a problem anymore. Soon.
18650s?
No, that was the idea, but no. But what do you call it? I had my phone, and I have my Node. Yeah, I got my phone. I've got my Polycom VVX 300. I've got my Polycom VVX 300. And yes, there is actually a way to use your cell phone to make calls via your PBX extension on the Arden network. But so internet went out. Cellular was still there, but internet went out, power went out, and I had everything on battery backup. And all it took me to do was to connect via the Wi-Fi to my HAP, which is a router board which controls my actual radio that's on the roof, the nano station. Set that to be my connection because I normally am tunneled due to my slow connection, but I still wanted to be on the network. So for me, it was just an extra step of logging in and switching over to the actual RF side, if that's what you want to call it. And then I was able to pick up my phone, dial a buddy, and go, "Hey, you have no power as well?" Who's like 3 blocks away, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't have any power either." I'm like, "All right, cool, hang up." That was my conversation, but I was still able to have a intelligent, clear phone call with somebody, and it wasn't via radio. Well, in a way, it was via radio, yes, but it wasn't like picking up my handy talkie or my microphone from my base stations and just start blabbing away trying to call him on 5.2. But if I wanted to talk to somebody in the East Bay, pick up, "Hey, how's it going?" and start talking to them. Battery backup for that equipment, it's not required. Like, it's not like, oh, it's gonna die and you're never gonna be able to use it again. But no, it's a definitely as an amateur radio emergency data network. That's what Arden stands for. Having that battery backed up is, like, in a way kind of a must because you use it during an emergency. And what happens normally in an emergency? The power goes out. Like, natural disaster, no power. So it's definitely a big thing. So I'll pass it to Jim, and then we'll go around, and I think we can
I'm gonna
call it a night.
What I want to do is start just the ham map thing. I'm just gonna go knock on doors and talk to these hams that are nearby me and say, "Hey man, let's get this going. Let's get a little mesh thing going just in our neighborhood," because there's one guy that's that far away. Of course, he's got big ass trees around his house, so we won't be able to. It is very line of sight. The higher the frequency, the less penetration it's going to have through pretty much anything. So, you do have to have 100% line of sight. You can't have a marginal, you've got your beam has to go right on the money. But I want to build it out here, in the community and start getting people on it with the idea of having this little emergency network, when things go down. And so that's the whole thing. That's what I'm all about, bro.
Yeah.
Do it.
Servando, you got anything?
Can
I wrap it up?
No,
here?
man. It's
No?
good to be back.
Yeah,
I'm at
good
the
talking,
house.
man.
I'm at
Glad
the house quarantine, so I'm working from home. So I was able to make the net. It's good to see you guys, man.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Jim, always, Bert,
Yeah, you too.
Kellen. And hopefully Nick is doing good, man. Sucks he couldn't join. But we got a quick shout out to Taylor Hanley. He's in the chat on YouTube out of Texas, Austin, Texas. Thanks for stopping by, man. And T1 Mount Tam. I'm assuming it's Mount Tam. It's definitely not a call sign.
He's in our
But,
Discord.
it is.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah.
I think T1 Mount Tam.
Tim Tam. His real name is Tom.
Tom?
He lives in
Yeah,
Australia right now. He's
in Australia?
Yeah, he's a kid down in Australia.
Oh man,
He
Australia.
used to be near me.
Yeah, he used to. He lives in San Mateo part time, and then the rest. Right now, he's He travels with his dad who works down there.
Oh, nice. Hey, man, I'll tell you something about the Aussies. They know a thing or two about HF, dude.
Boy,
Those guys,
Oh, yeah.
guys are all about it, dude. I've been looking at all their mobile HF stuff, and man,
They got it
Australia,
down better
man.
than us.
Huh?
Yeah.
You said not better than us?
No, they got it down better than us.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, man. I've been digging in, like I said, the HF APRS stuff, and these guys, man, they got it down, man.
They have to. They're a freaking island and a country.
That's
out in the
true,
middle
yeah.
of freaking nowhere, right? I mean, big. It's big. So HF across their own country, but then if they want to talk to anybody else, it's like, dang, you're gonna have to, you need to get your HF game going.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true.
Bert, you got anything? Nah. Kellen?
Nope.
Kellen's talking on his digital mobile radio right now, probably.
Yeah.
I know he heard it.
He's got a new digital HT.
What?
Digital HT. Yeah.
Just kidding.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you everybody for watching. The 13 people who are still with us somehow. Hope you guys enjoyed. Discord and website is in the description below. Come join us on Discord. Say hi. Make fun of us. Whatever you want to do. You know, we're always here. But yeah, hope everybody enjoyed, and see you next week for the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net 7-3s.
7 3s.
Fire.
All right, we're done.